My friend, my dear soul, listen to me very closely right now. Does that heavy feeling ever wash over you? That sense that your days are slipping away like sand through your fingers, while your most cherished dreams, your most important tasks, remain just out of reach, shimmering like mirages in a desert? Have you ever felt that thick, invisible web coiling around your will, shackling your movements, whispering in your ear? Later, not now. There's still time. This, my friend, is a silent saboteur. Its name: procrastination, listlessness, that spiritual inertia. And believe me, it's far more dangerous than it first appears. We live in a world that screams about achievement, about success, about constant forward motion. But what if the greatest battle isn't fought in the external world, but deep within ourselves? What if the main enemy isn't our circumstances, not other people, but that very apathy, that postponement of life itself, which parches the soul and robs us of the joy of creation, the joy of simply being? You can build magnificent plans. You can see shining peaks before you. But if this internal brake is engaged, you risk remaining palavras at the foot of the mountain, gazing upward with longing and regret. And the paradox, you see, is that we often don't even notice how this poison seeps into our lives. It all starts small, with seemingly harmless curiosity. What's new on the social media feed? What are colleagues gossiping about? What new shows dropped this week? Then comes a subtle attachment to earthly comforts, to the familiar and understandable. And before you know it, you find yourself doing only what you feel like, not what you need to do, not what leads you to your true purpose, to your inner light. You brush aside the voice of your conscience, the call of your heart, the advice of those who wish you well. And this, my friend, is the first step into the embrace of insidious inaction. Let me share with you a profound truth, one perhaps not obvious to the everyday mind. This inertia is not mere laziness. It is a spiritual ailment, a disease that infects the very core of our will and blinds our understanding. It's a forgetting of our divine spark, our inherent ability to create and transform reality. And the root of this illness often lies in fear. Fear of failure, fear of difficulty, fear of stepping outside our comfort zone. But understand this: true life, true growth, always lies beyond that comfort zone. Let's explore how this invisible enemy operates. Imagine you have a task before you, an important undertaking. You think, okay, I'll just rest a bit, gather my thoughts. 5 minutes pass, then 10. This is the first brief delay. It seems insignificant, but like a tiny pebble dislodged from a mountaintop, it starts an avalanche. The first delay is followed by a second, longer one. Just another half hour and I'll definitely start. And then a third, even more prolonged. And so, the task either begins too late, when deadlines are screaming and you rush through it haphazardly, or it remains untouched, shoved into the someday drawer, buried under a pile of other urgent trivialities. Do you know what's most insidious? Once you've tasted that false sweetness of inaction, that illusion of peace, you begin to love it. You begin to desire it more than the joy of accomplishment, of overcoming. And by satisfying this destructive craving, step by step, you sink into the quicksand of habitual idleness. This habit becomes second nature. The passion for doing nothing takes such a hold of you that you cease to realize how unnatural, how destructive it is for your soul. You're like someone sleepwalking through life, and only rare flashes of awareness, when the weight of unfinished business becomes unbearable, make you shudder and see with horror how much precious time has been wasted. How many opportunities have been squandered on empty, meaningless, I'll do what I want when I want. This inertia, my friend, is like a toxic vine that, starting from a small, barely noticeable sprout, gradually entwines your entire being. It affects not only your will, instilling in it an aversion to any effort, any endeavor, whether it's working on yourself, spiritual practice, or simply performing daily duties. It also blinds your mind. Your reason no longer sees the utter deceit and irrationality of the thoughts that fuel this state. It can no longer present you with those sound, powerful arguments that could shake your sluggish will and motivate it to act immediately, with diligence and joy. For it's not just about doing things quickly, It's crucial to do each thing in its own time, at the moment when it's most relevant and when you can invest your maximum energy and attention, so it turns out in the best possible way. Remember the ancient wisdom. Cursed is the one who does the Lord's work with negligence. And isn't every action we take aimed at growth, creation, or helping others, in some sense, the Lord's work, the work of our higher calling? Aren't we called to manifest our best qualities, our divine nature, in everything we do? And you expose yourself to this danger, this curse, not in the sense of divine punishment, but in the sense of self-sabotage, simply because you're too lazy to reflect on the value and significance of what lies before you. You're too lazy to mobilize your resolve, which like a mighty wind would scatter all the hazy thoughts of difficulty, all the whispers of laziness, trying to divert you from your path. So what is to be done? How do you break free from these tenacious clutches? How do you awaken the sleeping giant within you, your true power? Allow me to offer you a few keys, a few principles that, if you begin to apply them consciously and consistently, will help you achieve victory in this internal battle. Here is the first step, the first principle. Recognize the immense value of every moment and every task. Let the conviction never leave your mind that even the smallest effort directed toward the light, a single uplifting thought, one humble action done in the name of good and love, is infinitely more precious than all the treasures of the world. Imagine that every time you overcome internal resistance and diligently apply yourself to what needs to be done, unseen forces of light applaud you, and, as the ancient sages said, angels in heaven prepare a crown of glorious victory for you. Conversely, for those who succumb to inertia, not only are there no crowns, but even the gifts, the energy, the potential they were given, gradually fade and are taken away. Life abhors a vacuum and idleness. It is either filled with light and creativity, or it becomes overgrown with the weeds of apathy. Recall the parable of those invited to the feast who were too lazy to come. "Not one of those invited will taste my banquet," was the reply. This isn't a threat, it's a statement of fact. Those who make no effort receive no rewards. The second principle: do not allow negative thoughts and fears to paralyze you. When that negative thought form, that inner saboteur, begins to whisper that achieving your goal, acquiring that virtue or skill you desire, will require immense effort, that it will take too much time, that your enemies, your weaknesses, your doubts are too strong and numerous, and you are alone and weak. When it starts painting mountains of insurmountable obstacles before you, do not listen to it. Do the exact opposite. Tell yourself, yes, I need to act, but these are small, manageable steps. Yes, it will take effort, but it's a small amount and for a short time. Yes, there are internal obstacles, but there aren't that many. And with the help of that inner strength, which is always with me, with faith in my potential, I am infinitely stronger than them. You'll be amazed how, with this approach, inertia begins to retreat. In its place, fueled by these positive, life-affirming thoughts, a healthy zeal, an active desire to act, will begin to awaken within you, eventually taking hold of all the powers of your soul and body. The third key is the art of small steps, especially when it comes to large or seemingly overwhelming tasks, like meditation, learning something new, or a complex project. If, for example, a spiritual practice or an important work task requires an hour, and this seems an unbearable burden to your laziness, don't think about the whole hour. Tell yourself, I will dedicate just 15 minutes to this, and you'll see how easily those 15 minutes fly by. When they're over, tell yourself, excellent, and now, just 15 more. That's not much at all, is it? Then do the same for the third and fourth quarter hour. In this way, you'll complete the entire task without noticing much difficulty or burden. It's like climbing a high mountain. If you only look at the summit, the distance can be terrifying. But if you focus on each next step, you'll find yourself at the top before you know it. If during the process you feel strong fatigue or internal resistance that hinders concentration, take a short break. Distract yourself for a few minutes, breathe, and then return to the task and finish what's left undone. Don't be too harsh on yourself, but don't indulge your weaknesses either. The fourth principle: if you're faced with a multitude of tasks and feel overwhelmed, ready to throw in the towel, don't think about everything at once. That's a sure way to freeze up. Instead, choose one, the very first, the most urgent, or the one your soul is most drawn to at that moment, and tackle it with all your diligence, as if no other tasks exist. Concentrate fully on it, and you will do it calmly, with quality, and with satisfaction. Then do the same with the second, the third, and so on. And you'll see how the entire mountain of tasks will be dismantled by you, piece by piece, without fuss, without panic, without unnecessary stress. It's like a juggler keeping several balls in the air. They don't look at all the balls simultaneously, but focus on the one they are catching and tossing at that specific moment. And remember, my friend, always remember, if you don't take charge of your mind, if you don't consciously fight these suffocating feelings of difficulty and burden that your inner enemy presents to you, then inertia will eventually overpower you completely. And then you will feel crushed and overwhelmed, not only when a real task is before you, but even when it's just looming in the distance. You'll feel this weight on your shoulders constantly, as if wearing invisible shackles. Even during rest, you won't be able to truly relax because the burden of the undone will press down on you. Without tasks, you'll feel burdened by tasks. What a terrible paradox. This disease of laziness and inertia, like an unseen termite, day by day, hour by hour, undermines not only the young shoots of your good intentions, from which beautiful gardens of virtue could have grown, but also those roots that, seemingly, were already deeply established and served as the foundation of your well-being and harmony. It imperceptibly, but relentlessly consumes and destroys the very nerves of your spiritual life, depriving it of vitality, energy, and joy. Do you know why the adversary, that symbol of all that is dark and destructive within us and around us, loves to lay snares of temptation specifically for the lazy and inert? Because it knows such a person easily succumbs to temptations, easily falls. As it is said in ancient texts, the idle person is full of cravings. When the soul is empty, when it's not engaged in creative work, it's easily filled with anything. Empty distractions, base desires, destructive habits. Therefore, be ever vigilant, my soul. Pray, that is, connect with your higher self, with your intuition, with your source of power. And apply good diligence to all good things as befits a courageous warrior of the spirit. The hands of the courageous are diligent. Don't sit idly by, postponing the weaving of your wedding garment, the symbol of your spiritual beauty and readiness, until the moment you must go out to meet the bridegroom, to meet your true destiny, your highest purpose. Every day remind yourself, today is in my hands, tomorrow is in the hands of the divine. The one who gave you this morning has not thereby promised to give you the evening. Therefore, do not listen to the cunning tempter within you when it whispers, "Give me today, and you'll give God your higher calling tomorrow." No, no, and no again. Strive to live every hour, every minute of your life so that it is filled with meaning, light, and love. Keep in mind that after this present hour, another may not be given to you, and that for every minute of this hour, you will have to give a most detailed account, not to some fearsome judge, but to yourself, to your conscience, to your potential. Understand, there is no price for the time you now hold in your hands. It is the most precious gift, and if you waste it, the time will come when you will seek it, call for it, but will not find it. Consider that day lost in which, though you may have done some outwardly good deeds, you did not overcome a single one of your negative tendencies, a single one of your destructive desires, did not take a single step on your path of inner growth. I conclude these words of guidance, but let this call resonate in your heart. Strive earnestly in your noble work always. This doesn't mean you must be in constant tension. It means be conscious, be alive, be aspiring towards the light. For it has often happened in the history of human souls that 1 hour of fervent, inspired labor, 1 hour of complete self-dedication, opened the gates to paradise, to a state of inner harmony, joy, and unity with the world. And conversely, 1 hour of inertia, 1 hour of weakness and apathy, deprived them of this paradise. So be diligent if you wish to affirm, before yourself and before the universe. How firm is your faith in your destiny? How strong is your hope for salvation? Salvation from mediocrity, from stagnation, from a meaningless existence. For whoever trusts in the higher power within, in the source, will abide in diligence, in joyful, creative action. So begin right now. What tiny, infinitesimally small step can you take today, this very moment, to break the chains of inertia? Which dusty shelf of your soul are you ready to wipe clean? What postponed task are you ready to nudge forward? Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait for inspiration from outside. Create it yourself. Inspiration comes through action. Strength is born in overcoming. Joy blossoms in the soil of diligence. You can do this. You are capable of so much more than you think. Spread your wings and fly. Your life is waiting for you to fill it with meaning, light, and love. Right now,